Grit is part of hard work. But who are you working for? For you? For your future? For your retirement? For your customer? Are you working for your bottom line or for profit? They're all important. How do you choose where you apply your grit? Jan Southern tells us all about her vision next.
This is A Dash of Grit. Recipes for success from courageous leaders who overcome challenges and build great things. Now, podcasting from Spire to leaders in local communities like yours, here is Brian Leflock.
And so let's get cooking. So entrepreneurship is fun. And sometimes it's so much fun that entrepreneurs just can't get enough. They want to start one business and then another business and then another business, and they take on so much, and it just exponentially increases the amount of grit that someone needs. And you're about to meet someone like that. I look at her and I say, wow, what aren't you doing? This is Jan Southern. Jan Southern is our guest today on Dash of Grit. She is president of J. Delser Marketing, owner and publisher of Pooler Magazine and Effingham Magazines. Yes, that's 3 entrepreneur activities that she is doing. Jan, welcome to Dash of Grit. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We're excited to have you here too. And I know there's a lot of folks listening and watching that are like, wow, she's got 3 things going. I just want to try to figure out how to do one. And I know it's not easy. But let's talk a little about first before we dive into some of those struggles. Tell me what's good. Brag about it a little bit. Tell me what you love about running these businesses and what's successful right now for you as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, well, I'm really enjoying working on the businesses. My favorite thing is helping clients, figure out marketing for themselves and for their businesses and just kind of helping them grow. So over the last, we're approaching 2 years of having J. Delser Marketing Group. And we've gradually built, a client base and building that reputation of being very concerned and very, very invested in the client's business and in their success. I had to kind of establish myself in the community as that. So that was, a part of the challenge, but it's been going really well. That's been going really well. And then the magazines have grown a lot. I've only owned them a year and a couple of months, going on a year and a half, and purchased those shortly after starting J. Delser Marketing Group. And, we've transformed them into more print and digital. And so really working on the digital part and gaining a lot of recognition in the communities for this transformation that the magazines have taken. So that's been really exciting. And it's fun to watch it grow.
Yeah, I bet it. And is there I know that a lot of new businesses that start don't have that kind of track record. You've got 3 that you've started and they've lasted past that 1 almost 2-year status. Did you have any ideas at the time that maybe it wasn't going to make it? Start talking about grit right there off the bat.
Yeah. The magazines had been around for 14 years prior to my purchase. So I had owned a magazine years and years ago in Florida, just a small startup magazine that did pretty well. So I kind of thought I understood how to run a magazine. And so I was approached to purchase these 2 local magazines, in the community that I serve. So they were established, but both magazines were very traditional, strictly print, no digital. And so really having to ramp that up. And that's been the new part of the business, is also providing that digital packages to the clients as well as the print magazine. So it's been a lot of work, really transitioning the magazines to modern technologies and things like that. So,
did you start the marketing company from scratch as well, or did you?
That was from scratch, yeah.
And so that was starting a brand new opportunity in a brand new community.
Yeah, and my last name is Southern, and so I didn't want to, living here in the South in Savannah, I didn't want to name my company Southern.
Okay.
So I kind of creatively, Delser means of the South or Southern in Spanish. So that's how I came up with J. Delser. So it is literally my creation.
Wonderful. And so there's probably all kinds of opportunities to share stories of grit, of just getting started in a brand new community. I'm interested though, if you look back at now, let's dive into some of the hard times. If you look back at your life in leadership and in business and all the things that you've accomplished, and now owning these 3 companies and striving to do more, What strikes you as the biggest opportunity, the biggest hurdle you had to overcome to get this kind of success? Where's the grit? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I would say it's in the mindset. I've been in marketing for 30 years, but the last 16 prior to owning the business was in higher education. So I was always striving to advance. I got my doctorate. I worked on all my degrees and advancing in my position in higher ed. And I think it was a calling for me to be kind of directed into this entrepreneurship. But I do believe that. I do believe it was a calling. I was kind of placed in that opportunity where I needed to make a decision whether I was going to move somewhere else to, because a executive in a university, there aren't that many positions around the country. There certainly aren't many here in the Savannah area, and we really wanted to stay in this area. So I had to make a decision of what I was going to do. And I've always loved marketing, and I love working with the small organizations and helping them figure it out, and do it effectively. So I made the choice to stay here and create the business. So all at once, I was in a corporate sort of setting and at a university, associate vice president level, to owning my own business. It was a mindset shift to stay motivated on your own work. There wasn't that outside lever to judge what my day was going to be like. All of a sudden, it was all on me to know what how my day was going to be structured. And I think it takes some time to become self-directed in that way, and just to stay positive when you might not see the progress as quickly as you would like. That's probably my biggest challenge, is that I want to see results right now. I want to see the numbers. I want to see the success. And when you own a business and starting something from scratch, you don't always see the positives every day. It's kind of a long game.
So when you set those goals, are you setting those goals based on what you need to do, what you would love to do? And then how do you know that you're on track? When you're building something from scratch, how do you know that you're doing something correctly?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have certain goals, a certain number of clients a month, building, new clients per month, revenue goals. I had very lofty revenue goals in the beginning. And then, of course, COVID has, kind of made us readjust everything that we're thinking. The other part for me that is so hard for me to do, and I work on this all the time, is what is success really? Is it money? Because money is certainly the indicator for a business. But
sure,
is that all there is? Is it's so fulfilling to do the work. And our magazines cover feel-good stories. So there's feature stories on people who've overcome or achieved something or have really contributed to the community. So they're really good stories, and people love to read those kind of stories. So, there's your value in the community, your value in what you're building, is your lifestyle. Those are all positives, and those are all keys to success. And I guess part of my challenge is shifting my thinking to, is it all about, the money coming in and the profitability? And of course, profitability is, but, there's so much more to it, being an entrepreneur, than just the increases of revenue constantly.
Yeah. So a lot of times profit can be seen as a dirty word, but we know in the business world, we've got to have the profit to pay the people and to do the work and to do those things. But yet you're doing something you love. And so there's a passion there. Yeah. And so how do you manage those? What kind of challenges have you had to face? What have you had to give up to make sure the money's there? How much money do you give up to make sure your passion's taken care of? How do you balance that?
So far, I haven't had a challenge in the lack of funds coming in. It's just not the level that I expected right from the get-go.
And how does that make you feel as far as a business owner?
Yeah, I mean, right. I found recently through prayer and discussions with people that,
Yes.
I'm so focused on that number that I'm not paying attention. I'm not enjoying the process to get
Yes.
there.
Hmm.
It's just, that's kind of, the money will come. You always hear that. You do what you love. You do good work and you serve people and the money comes. My whole life has been that way. I don't have, I've never really had a problem with that. So I don't know why I wasn't trusting that, in this business.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it's okay. I'm just sitting here squirming as I sit, because I know what that feels like to have those goals. Like, you could do a lot to make the money, right? It's not about the level. It's about what you're willing to do to get there, what you're willing to give up to get there, because it's a tough marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been in a situation where you had to make tough calls in the creation of your magazine or in the way you provided your services? It's going to be better for the customer, not so much for the revenue. Or have you ever, how did you handle those kinds of things where you had to choose one or the other? One had to go, and we need both.
Right. Well, I don't know if this is exactly what you mean, but there's often times where people will approach us about advertising in the magazines.
Mm-hmm.
And I've turned people away because it's not the right fit. So it might be a business to business. There's been several, but where I look at it and I think, I know what my magazine offers. It's not the right market advertising outlet for them. Mm-hmm. They're willing to spend the money, but I'm telling you, this probably isn't going to get you the results you're looking for. Luckily, I can offer other options because of the marketing firm. But yeah, I've turned people away. So it is not all about money. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I took something in where I didn't really believe I could deliver.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And especially with your magazine, if you're putting the wrong people in that just want to expose themselves for whatever reasons to that audience, it doesn't help your reader base, which doesn't help your marketing long term.
Right. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the way you were able to impact your community in such a way that they accepted you. You're in a long-standing, probably established community, and here comes Jan with the brand new business. And what is that like? I know a lot of people struggle with building new opportunities and new locations.
What I'm finding, people have been telling me, is that they once we have a conversation, they can kind of sense that I care, because it's odd. I get very excited when I feel like I start to talk with someone about their business and their challenges. I get really excited about it.
Yeah.
And I think it comes across. And so after, I can give them lots of suggestions and things, even just in a conversation. And then they kind of see that I care and that it's just more genuine. And so the people that I've worked with have said that, and I'm kind of building that reputation where, she does really care. During COVID, one of the things that we did is tried to go out and do Facebook Lives from different locations to show people that these businesses were still open. We ran some promotions with some restaurants, because our magazine is dropped free in a lot of places. Mm-hmm. There's so many places during April. There were so many places that weren't open. So we partnered with some of the restaurants because they were hurting too. So we bought gift cards from the restaurants and we gave them magazines to put in the to-go bags because people were doing the curbside. But we bought the gift cards, and then we did some contests on social media and things like that to give away for the restaurants. So we tried to find our one of our pharmacies. We did a promotion with them. So there was just trying to find ways that we could help them, even though we probably, one of our issues we didn't print because of COVID, but we wanted to be out there showing support for the businesses that needed it. And we had a platform. So. Mm-hmm.
What kind of challenges did that create by skipping a what's it called, a magazine, a printout?
Yeah. Well, it hurt my revenue goal.
Yeah.
It just didn't make sense we put some things online. We have content online that was different for that issue, but yeah, we just didn't print and just took the hit.
It's amazing how COVID or any kind of a disruption, and we've gone through many. And it's amazing how one thing leads to another, which leads to another, which leads to another. And so many people get caught up in this cycle of of trouble and pain. Like you not being able to print the magazine hurts those that can't be in the magazine and doesn't serve those who want to read the magazine, which leads to this cycle of, well, maybe the magazine isn't there. I mean, how do you overcome this struggle that we're going through right now of everything's so different? How are you changing and managing, and how's that working out for you?
Well, immediately, you have to pivot. You have to find a positive, something positive that you can contribute to the situation. I mean, it goes back to mindset again. I think I had a day or two where I was down about it. And then I picked myself up and I said, no, you're not, this isn't how this is going to go. You're going to keep your eyes open and your mind open to the possibilities that I'm a firm believer God's guiding my steps. So I just need to make sure that I'm open to it and I'm aware, but if I'm sitting around sulking and complaining about the situation, I'm not going to hear, what that next opportunity is. So I really, you spend a little time sulking, but not too much.
Yeah. When you sulk, do you ever just kind of wish you hadn't just gone out on your own? There's a lot, you're out there exposed as an entrepreneur. You're out there just by yourself, and you could always go back, right? You could always just try to figure something else out, a little more comfortable, a little easier. You ever think about that? And I know a lot of entrepreneurs do. Do you?
Yes, I do. I just had this conversation with my husband this morning. Not that I was planning on that, but that's always a possibility. I could do that. I don't. But one of the things I really believe in is if you're too comfortable, you won't do the necessary work to grow the business. If you're, if someone who also maybe works full time and they have a side hustle, if they don't need, there's so many people that if they don't need to do that side hustle, they're not going to put the time in to do it, So if you always have one foot in this other, your plan B, you're not going to, I know for myself, I won't put the effort in to make it go, make it work. And I'll tell you, when I first opened the business, when I bought the magazines, I had a little extra cash sitting around, and I got the first couple months, I was a little too comfortable.
Yep.
And I didn't probably put some things in place that I should have from the get-go. So I probably lost if you really get critical, I probably lost 2 or 3 months of just kind of like spending, buying some things, getting things set up and not really paying attention to revenue, getting the sales in and things like that. So you just stay uncomfortable, I think is part of it.
It's the idea of burning the ships. You hear a lot about that. I'm going to give myself no out of here. And that's the way it's going to be. It's one of the things I love about doing the show, Jan, is that's that grit. And if you've got another way out that you don't have to get dirty, we just don't get dirty. And so you jump in both feet first and you grind it out and you've got no other choice. I think that's what separates entrepreneurs and business owners from others.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you say to someone who can't decide? Am I going to go or am I not going to go? And both choices are fine. So they're in a situation like you were in, employed by a corporation or whatever it might be with other people around, the support system, insurance and all those fun little things called benefits. And you decide to make the next choice, or you don't decide to make the entrepreneurial choice. Both choices are fine.
Right.
What do you tell someone? How does someone make that decision?
That's a hard one. For me, it's being fulfilled and knowing that I always say, I know I was blessed with talents, and I want to live my life to the fullest potential. Whatever God has given me, I want to live that to the fullest. So if that means for somebody working in a corporation till retirement, then fine. But if you really search your heart and think, what am I living my best life? And the one that's going to be the most fulfilling and bring the most value to whoever is important to you, that's what you should go for. Because you only get one chance, and at life, you might get a couple chances at entrepreneurship, but
it's funny.
But it's you gotta go for it, And this is another thing: the business you start, you may end up somewhere else from starting that business. And that's okay.
Yep.
So that's another thing. I keep my mind open to the possibility that it might morph into something else, and that's fine. But this is where I'm staying, and it's the pleasure of that of doing what is your, I don't want to say calling, but where you can contribute the most and you enjoy it. I mean, it's very fulfilling to do that.
That's the top line. That's the measure of success. You mentioned earlier, what does success mean? It means a lot of different things for a lot of different people. I think it just means, have you accomplished anything? Are you thrilled about anything? Are you happy with anything? And it's so hard sometimes if you're stuck being happy. You could be stuck in a very successful life. If you're not happy, I don't know if that's a success. So
that's right.
What's next? So you've got these 3 companies and all these things going on in your life and success happening all around you. What are the hurdles that you see coming up that are going to require some Jan Southern grit?
Well, what I'm finding is so many clients, they're concerned, about what's coming up. And I think the biggest challenge that they seem to have is not knowing what to do. They know they need to market, but what should they choose? They're bombarded all the time by new technologies, new platforms, new shiny objects, I always say, out there. And what do they choose? How do they decide what to do? So just trying to maybe educate people. It's always a challenge to try to educate them, help them strategize before they spend the money, That's kind of my focus. I had a client that she bought $10,000 worth of advertising when she just started her a business. And, the commercial was created by the TV station. The radio spot was created by the radio station. And there was no branding or any strategy up front. Well, she spent that money, didn't get any results from it. And then she blew her marketing budget for the year. So that hurts when I see that, because with a little planning, it might have been more effective and she'd be on her way. So trying to help educate and kind of guide in that regard is challenging. And it's going to be, as we come out of this, go into 2021, I think that'll be on people's minds of just, being conservative. And
I love that your definition of the upcoming grit is your customers need to succeed. You could have said, well, I'm trying to accomplish this. I'm kind of trying to hit this goal. I'm trying to do that. And COVID's causing me issues because I can't sell advertising. You could have said that, and that's all true. But instead you said, my biggest issue coming up is that customers don't know how to get it done right, which means they're going to fail and not have advertising budget to help their businesses grow.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's the definition of passion. And it just came right out. And I just wanted to point it out that's the kind of thing that we need more in business. So congratulations. That's good.
Yeah. It's just
it's just the way you are. Yep. It's hard to explain who we are, and you just did. So if someone is out there and wondering, how can they learn maybe more about your marketing services or magazine, or even just want to share entrepreneurial stories with you and maybe connect, how would you have them do that?
Yeah, and I would say that I'm really looking for, that's one thing that I'm craving too, is to be around other people that are similar. So I would welcome any conversation. They can, my email is jan@jdelsurmarketing.com. You can go to the website and get that, or email me directly.
Very good. Thank you so much for sharing. I know there's so many folks out there wondering, do I do it? Do I don't? And why? And you answered a lot of those questions for them today.
Yeah, that's great.
Quick commercial for Spire, our sponsor here, and my employer. We are a marketing company, and we want to be an integral part of your company. We want to help you market. We want to help you grow. A lot of the same things that you're doing, Jan. You're in Georgia. We're in Ashland. I imagine we can talk to each other and help each other out perhaps at times. We're the kind of company, also like Jan's, that we just really care about your success. It's more about you than it is us. We want to be accountable for the things that go wrong, and we want to be responsible for the things that go right. And so if that's the kind of team player that you're looking for, that's Spire. We're at spiread.com. I am Brian Lefelock, Director of Sales with Spire Advertising. I'm thrilled to talk again with Jan Southern today. Thank you for being a guest on A Dash of Grit. Good luck with Effingham Magazine, with Pooler Magazine, and with J. Delser Marketing.
Thank you so much, Brian. Thanks for having me.
For all those folks out there, thanks for listening. We'll do it again on a weekly basis, and we look forward to talking to you again. So go show some grit win the day.
This is A Dash of Grit. Recipes for success from courageous leaders who overcome challenges and build great things.